Well, I found another Jeep shed to have a look in. I'm here with Geoff today, and he's going to show us his Jeep. So I'll give him a tap on the door, and we'll get him to bring her out and have a look. So Geoff's going to give us a look over his great looking Willys here. I'm going to do the video on today, and we're going to ask Geoff some questions as we go along. So let's get into it. So great looking Willys you got here, Geoff. Can you tell us a little about the year model and how you came to own it?
Yeah, she's a 64 model, Willys 6230. She's got the 230 cubic inch overhead cam Tornado engine in it. Started life as a CFA firefighting vehicle. I'll just show you the motor. She's an original numbers vehicle. Still got the original engine, the original 3-speed gearbox, the original transfer case and front and rear diffs. Still got the same old drum brakes. They're not like a disc brake. You will stop somewhere someday. But yeah, she's an honest vehicle. She hasn't been dollied up or anything.
No, it's definitely original in there.
I'm not one for making a show vehicle out of vehicles. I like to show that they've been a work vehicle. They're more prestigious if you show that they've had some life as a work vehicle. This one,
I love the patina. Sorry, Joe. I love the patina here on the guard.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, that. Around the other side, you'll see patches on the roof. When she was a CFA vehicle, she was in a nasty crash. She went over an embankment and rolled. If you have a good close look, you'll see pop rivets in it. The floor on the passenger side still shows creases. They're the pop rivets of where they did body work to it. But the CFA resurrected it and put it back on into service. Like all vehicles, CFA didn't really show much care in their vehicles. They chopped holes in to put extra gauges and radios and things in.
They had a job to do.
Yeah, it was built for a job, and it did a job, and a lot of people even now swear by them when they were in the CFA. They went everywhere and anywhere. The original tray, the timber tray here, it's an add-on. Underneath is the original CFA tray. This plate here covers up a hole in the floor where the water tank used to go down into. We've got plugs here that have been welded into the floor. That's where pipes used to come out for the pump that was mounted over here. It would have had a frame all the way around and a walk-up area approximately about here.
Okay.
If you can come around this way, I'll just show you the wheels. I don't know if you know this, but when the CFA had them, they carried a little bit more than what they should have.
Yeah.
These have got 13 leafs in the back springs and 11 leafs in the front springs. The wheels, as you can see, are solid wheels. I call them barbecue plate wheels. If you can see the thickness, there's the end of my finger, and that'll give you an indication of the thickness of that wheel.
Yep.
And that is solid steel.
They are a solid rim, Geoff.
They are a solid steel rim. That rim and tyre weighs 45 kilo. So when you've got to put them on,
yeah,
you need a bit of help.
Have you read any stats on what weight they were carrying when they were fully kitted
The-
out for use?
Well, they had 700 kilos of water, 700 litres of water in a steel tank. So you've got to be looking at nearly 800 kilos there. You've got a pump, not like the pumps we've got now. The pump was a very heavy pump.
Yep.
You would probably be looking at close to 60 kilo. Then with your hoses, you had suction hoses, you had all your other auxiliaries. You would be probably carrying around about 900 kilo in the back. Then you've got to remember, it was a 3-seater.
Yep.
So even if you had 2 people that weighed 80 kilo, there's 160 kilo, you're already above your 1 tonne.
Yep.
Already above, well above.
And then you got rakes and shovels and
That's right.
odds and ends and
Odds and ends. It was well over its agreed life. Like here it says maximum gross vehicle weight 6,000 pound. Now I think the conversion rate is 2.2 pound equals 1 kilo. So that doesn't even weigh up to 3,000 kilo. The vehicle, I haven't got the figures with me right now, but the vehicle bare, I'm pretty sure comes in around about 2 tonne.
okay.
So she's not a lightweight, but she goes well. She's, as I say, she's all original. I could pretty it up, but I think this is what it needs. It just needs to be left alone and let it live out its life in comfort.
Well, there's some really good history with this Jeep, Geoff, and you told me you've been into other Jeeps.
Gosh,
You better
yes.
give us a quick rundown on what you've had.
What I've had. 1978, I bought my first CJ6 Jeep. That was a 1974 model with a 232 cubic inch engine.
So you bought in 70,
78, and it was a 74, so it was only
nearly new.
nearly new. Yep. I've had, with that, I've had 3 CJ6s. I've had a Combat CJ5. I've had a 42 MB, Ford MB Willys with the Ford inscript on every nut and bolt that you could think of. I've had another 64 Willys. I built a modified CJ7 Jeep. And when I say modified, the only thing that was Jeep on that was the transfer case and the body.
Well, it was.
Yeah, and I think about a quarter of the chassis.
Okay.
And Cherokees, I've had Cherokees, 80 models. I've had this fixation for Jeeps all my life, and I'm now 70 years old. I've got this one, I've got my garden art one, but I'm always looking again.
Always looking around.
Always looking around. This one, as I was saying, started life as a CFA fire truck. I live in a fire-prone area. It's now my fire truck. I've got a slip-on unit, which I slide onto the back of this every summer,
Okay.
and this is my fire truck.
Good. So it's still getting used.
It's still getting used.
Excellent.
It gets used. As much as I can drive it, I'll drive it. I just love driving it. Yes, I've got a vehicle that's got power steering and power brakes and ABS and you name it, it's got it. But I still love getting into this.
Nice.
I still love getting into this. This reminds me of when you had to drive.
Yes. Well, we talked about you mentioned the garden art Willys.
Yep.
So I think we might go down and do a quick look at that.
Okay,
Let's go.
no worries.
So this is Geoff's garden art, and I reckon it looks really cool. And this is what actually brought me into Geoff here. Spotted the garden art and then had a bit of a sniff around, and of course he saw us in a Jeep, so the connection happened pretty quick. So Geoff, do you get a lot of people stopping and taking photos like I did, or admiring your garden art?
Believe it or not, yes. I've had a lot of people stop, and they don't worry about coming knocking on the door. They'll park out the front, they'll come in, they'll take their photos. Next minute I hear a car drive off and another car will pull up and they'll take their photos. And a lot of this stuff that I've got here, the old Fergie tractor, she's a goer, believe it or not.
Nice.
This old girl, she was bought with another Willys as the parts vehicle. What parts I've needed have come off it, and the rest is now turned into something that even the missus enjoys it. If you can get your missus on side, if you've got a Willys or a Jeep, get her on side, even if you've got to buy one and make it a garden. But no, she's had a hard life, this one. I did get the history of this one too. It started life as a 226 with the 3-speed gearbox. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a tray, but it came with a lot of spare wheels and bits and pieces that I've kept. The chassis no good because she started to get rust in behind the reinforcing plate. So the chassis gone, basically going to heaven. So, you know, there's not much we can do about that.
I think it's a good place here for it. It's
Yep.
still being admired. It's still, I guess, being used in a way. It's growing some flowers.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's great what you've done, and you're happy for people to stop and have a look.
Ah, well,
It's really good.
there's a lot of people who actually do pull up, and you'll be surprised at how many people ask me, what is it?
Okay.
And the first thing they say, is it an old Land Cruiser?
Oh.
And oh, that upsets me.
Good
That
stuff.
upsets me. No, it's not a Land Cruiser. She's an old Willys. And she's had a hard life, but, you know,
She's in rest.
she's in rest. And she can stay in rest.
No, that's good. Excellent. Well, thanks for showing us over the garden art, Geoff. It's really good. Now, when we were talking before, you did tell me a little saying, I guess we'd call it.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty good one, so I think we should tell everybody.
Well, as I said to you, I've been into Jeeps since 1978. And if you own a Jeep or a Willys and you haven't been under the bonnet or underneath it in at least the last 6 months, there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with the Jeep, because if you own a Jeep, you've got to be working on it.
I love that. Geoff, thanks for showing us around. It's been a pleasure.
Not a problem.
And
Anytime.
yeah, hope you enjoyed all that, and we'll catch you later.